Adrian Peterson is currently 5th all-time in rushing yards with 14,216. Just 1,000 behind Barry Sanders for 4th and Frank Gore for 3rd. But today, the Washington football team surprised many by cutting All Day after already releasing Darius Geis earlier this offseason. Peterson rushed for over 1,000 yards 8 times in his career, winning 3 rushing titles and falling just 8 yards short of setting a new single-season rushing record back in 2012. So inbounds or out of bounds, Teak, Adrian Peterson is a top 10 running back all time.
Yeah, there's no question about that. He's old school in so many great ways. I remember, this is inbounds, I remember that 2,000-yard season, they were playing Minnesota at the end of the game, end of the season, but they had to play Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs as well. And I remember, very rarely do I jump off my couch, but I was watching that game and Adrian Peterson broke one. I remember this like it was yesterday. It's down the left sideline, and if he got caught, but if he would have scored, he might have broken the record. He obviously didn't, but he did rush for over 2,000 yards, which is that is one of the hardest things in sports to do, because you got to have a lot of big plays in order to do that. And in his heyday, AP could do that all day. That's why he has his nickname, All Day. The reason that the Washington football team decided to move on from him had nothing to do with his ability to still run. So I think someone will pick him up. But the game is evolving for running backs. It's the Christian McCaffreys of the world anymore. It's the Dalvin Cooks of the world, Saquon Barkley, Le'Veon Bell. You have to be able to catch the football. He just isn't a pass catcher, and so he's not as dynamic as some of these other running backs that are younger than him. He's 35 years old. Top 10, no doubt about it. He might even be top 5.
All right, Teak, staying in the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts signed center Ryan Kelly to a record 4-year, $50 million deal, making Kelly the highest-paid center in the NFL. Earlier this offseason, Indy gave tackle Anthony Costanzo a monster 2-year, $33 million extension, the 3rd most per year for any lineman in the NFL. The Colts will also have to pay 2-time All-Pro Quentin Nelson once his rookie deal expires in 2022. Inbounds or out of bounds, Teak, it is a mistake to tie up so much of your cap on offensive linemen.
I don't think so. I think that, so I'm going to say out of bounds. I think the pandemic changes things because of the monetary decrease that's going to happen to the salary cap. Even though there's a floor on how far it can fall. So I'm still going to stand by it. I think the NFL of all sports is going to rebound really quickly from the revenue loss. The NBA might have some problems because of the China situation. The MLB as well. I think they might have some problems getting fans back in the stadiums. Maybe not. We'll see. I think the NFL though, it'll as soon as they turn the faucet back on, it's going to come flowing out. So yeah, given that the salary cap is going to rise. And continue to rise, and given that the core is one of the most important parts of a team. Obviously, you need your quarterback. You need your big-time playmakers on both sides of the ball. But offensive linemen in that trench, it's paramount. So I'm going to say out of bounds of that. By the way, it was the Packers that I was thinking of with last week with Adrian Peterson. It wasn't Minnesota. It was the Packers. All
right, Teague, let's move to a little NBA here. As expected, Ja Morant won the NBA Rookie of the Year award, receiving 99 of the possible 100 first-place votes. The lone other vote going to Zion, who actually finished 3rd behind Miami's Kendrick Nunn. After accepting the award, Morant addressed not winning unanimously. While Zion played just 24 games compared to Morant's 67, Williamson averaged 5 more points a game, double the amount of rebounds, and a PER 7 points higher. So inbounds or out of bounds, Teak, while Morant played significantly more games, Zion was the more impressive rookie this season.
I'm going to say out of bounds of that, and it's not even Zion's fault. The reality is Zion had injury issues from the very beginning, and as a result, even when he came back, he was limited minutes-wise. And even after a 3.5 week, actually it was longer than that. It was probably almost 2-month break. A 2.5-month break, he still came back with minute limitations. And so it's not Zion's fault that I feel this way. He just wasn't there enough, whereas Ja Morant was unbelievable. And it's bigger than his 18 points a game or 4 rebounds and 7 assists, and numbers which I'm sure he'll improve upon as he grows and matures. He learns his shot. He's not a great 3-point shooter. But when you watch the Memphis Grizzlies, you can't take your eyes off him because of his athleticism and how he flies through the lane and makes shots, and he's just everywhere. So I'm going to say out of bounds, but it's not Zion's fault that this is out of bounds.
All right, Tiki, let's squeeze in a little baseball here. The Phillies and Bryce Harper had high expectations for 2020, but started the year just 9-14. Now, however, Philly is on an absolute tear, winning 9 of their last 10 to vault to second place in the NL East. Ironically, though, Harper was hitting .343 with an OPS of 1.2 during the team's early struggles, but is just 5 for his last 35 during the hot streak, good for a 143 average with no homers and a 500 OPS. So inbounds or out of bounds, Seek, the Phillies do need Harper to have an MVP-type season to win a World Series.
I don't think they need him to have an MVP type season. I think they need, so I'm going to say out of bounds, I think they need everyone else to play like they've been playing the last 10 games. I think it's less about Bryce Harper, even though he's getting paid that much money. He needs to be clutch, obviously, but the National League it's just busy. It's stacked. I mean, the White Sox are good. All right, and not that they're going to win the World Series, but you're not counting them out. The Cleveland Indians not the Cleveland Indians, the San Diego Padres are good. The Dodgers. It's just the National League is just tough. Even if he does have a MVP season, I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to even get to the World Series, much less win the World Series. So it'd be nice if he did to justify that, ridiculously large paycheck he's commanding, but I'm going to say out of bounds.
All right, Teek, sticking with baseball. While runs scored seem to be up this season, starting pitching seems to be as dominant as ever. Right now, Indians ace Shane Bieber is 6-0 with a league-leading 1.2 ERA and is one of 5 starters with ERAs under 2, including Yu Darvish and 2-time reigning Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom of the Mets. 2 others have ERAs under 2.15, including our friend and outspoken voice, Trevor Bauer. Now, since 1972, no season has seen more than 2 pitchers finish with an ERA under 2 in the same year.
Wow.
So inbounds or out of bounds, Teek, we will see at least 3 pitchers finish this year with sub-2 ERAs.
Yeah, I think that's inbounds. You know DeGrom is, because he always does, or at least he's right there. And Bieber has been ridiculous. Trevor Bauer could get there. Yu Darvish as well. The reality, this is less about the pitchers who have been great. I mean, they have good stuff. We know this, and they're playing better and even above their station in some ways. And some of them are young, but I think this is more about the hitters because of the shortened off season and the in spring training being truncated, started, then stopped, and then started again, and you're going to see a lot of hitters struggling. You see this when you go look through your team's average. It's like, dude, that dude's hitting 153. What? Right? It's more because of the guys that they're pitching to not finding their grooves, and they're not going to in this shortened season. I mean, we're already halfway through, or more than halfway through. There's probably, 20-something games left, 25 or 23 games or something left. So, yeah, I think this is definitely going to happen, mainly because the pitchers have an advantage. They don't have to necessarily find their stroke like these guys at the plate do. So I'm going to say inbounds.
Tune in next time for another edition of Inbounds or Out of Bounds with Tiki and Tierney.